Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the February 13th business session for the Cabarrus County Board of Education. I will call this meeting to order. We will stand as we have the presentation of colors and the national anthem.
Presenting tonight's colors are members of the J.M. Robinson High School Air Force JROTC program, and their personnel includes Cadet First Lieutenant Jade Escobar, Cadet Major Sarah Henson, Cadet Master Sergeant Brandon Haggerty, and Cadet Captain Malachi Crew.
Halt. Present. Colors. Post. Right. Ace. Forward. Arch.
Honoring America tonight with the singing of our national anthem were members of the Odell Elementary School Chorus, and their personnel included Evie Kreitzer, Journey Johnson, Melba Marquez Paula, Anwita Chaudhry, Kylie Pignatello, Paige Wonderland, Jalea Hall, Srinity Nutaki, Amina Johnson, Harper Clemency, Melania Corrales, Zoe Soneson, Alexandra Shepard, Lauren Brookett, Sorav Talavahala, and Ali Moss. The director of the Odell Elementary School Chorus is Mr. Patrick McCarthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, we will move to 3.01, adopt the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walter, a second by Ms. Lindsay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, board members. We will move now to 4.01 in our Impact Through Education Awards, and we will welcome Director of Communication, Mr. Phil Furr, to the podium. Welcome, Mr. Furr.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kopicki, good evening. Tonight we will present Impact Through Education Awards to students and staff at Harrisburg Elementary School and the Cabarrus Early College of Technology. Our sponsors for the Impact Awards are our friends at Equitable. At this time, I would like to invite our Equitable representative, Andrew Spardella, to join me at the front of the room. Before we get started with the awards, please accept our sincere thanks and gratitude to Equitable for its continued sponsorship of the Impact Through Education Awards. We're in the 13th year of honoring those making an impact in our schools with this award. We appreciate your support and thank you for helping us celebrate and recognize deserving students and staff. We also want to say a word of thanks to our Cabarrus Regional Chamber and the Concord Trophy Center for providing us with the award plaques each month. Now on to tonight's awards. May I have the Harrisburg Elementary School administrative team come forward, please. Our first honoree from Harrisburg Elementary School is Riker Knapp. Riker, please come forward with your family. Riker is a great leader in school and outside of school. He was chosen by his teachers to be the lieutenant for the House of Revore as part of the Ron Clark Academy House system used at Harrisburg for positive behavior. He is also a kindergarten helper daily. Riker goes to the Mandarin immersion classroom each day and assists with breakfast, unpacking book bags, and building relationships with students. Ms. Sue says that Riker is a great helper. He is very responsible and kind. He is very patient with my kindergarten friends. His AIG teacher said that Riker always has a positive attitude, is a team player, and is not afraid to take risk. He understands that making mistakes is an important part of the learning process and does not let it stop him from trying. Outside of school, he attends King Tiger Taekwondo and takes a martial arts class along with the leadership class 4 hours weekly. He attends Kid Tensity and participates in Awanas at his church. Riker enjoys playing baseball with his dad in the backyard and likes to hang out with Mom and watch movies with her. He has a little sister, Anna Lynn, in 2nd grade. He likes to play board games and card games with her and play with their 3 dogs. Harrisburg Elementary School is proud to have Riker as Over the past 3 years, I have seen her demonstrate other people mindset, kindness, self-control, and perseverance each time she is in my AIG classroom. I have seen her motivate and encourage her group mates to not give up or try something different when they become frustrated during a difficult task. She is respected by her peers. She is a student that I can always count on to do the right thing and give her 100% best no matter what. Outside of school, Peyton plays competitive basketball. She was a member of the Lady Attack at Carolina Courts and Indian Trail and will begin to play with Charlotte Dream Elite 3 days a week. Peyton likes to watch football and basketball games, especially the Boston Celtics, with her dad. She enjoys playing board games with her mom. Peyton has a younger brother, Carter, who is 5. They enjoy jumping on the trampoline together. We're proud and honored to have Peyton as the Impact Through Education Award winner at Harrisburg Elementary School. Congratulations, Peyton. You're an Impact Through Education winner. She's got this. She's all over that. Congratulations. Thank you. Elementary support staff member Junior Allman. Mr. Allman, please come forward with your family. Junior Allman started his career May 1st. Truly left a lasting legacy at Harrisburg Elementary School. Congratulations, Junior. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Harrisburg Elementary. And finally, from Harrisburg Elementary is teacher Laura Galloway. Ms. Galloway, please come forward with your family. Ms. Galloway graduated from the University of Georgia with a bachelor's degree in arts education, and she began teaching elementary art in 2009 in North Carolina. She has been a national board certified teacher since 2014. This is her 3rd year teaching art in Cabarrus County, and Harrisburg Elementary School is fortunate to have her on board. Her dedication and respect for others adds to the school's positive culture. As a child, Ms. Galloway traveled a lot due to her dad being a pilot. Her global education began in Berlin, Germany as a kindergartner, and her travels have taken her to much of Europe, China, and Hong Kong. During college, she studied abroad in Italy, Costa Rica, and Ecuador. Teaching art at a global school has allowed her to incorporate her travel experiences and love for learning about other cultures into her classes. On display in her classroom, you will see art from all around the world. She has a unique classroom expectation. You have to make mistakes. She wants her students to feel safe, loved, and free to be creative and express themselves through their art. When she's not in the classroom, she is with her wonderful husband, Joe, and her two beautiful children. Congratulations, Laura. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Harrisburg Elementary School. Forward. Our first honoree from Cabarrus Early College of Technology is Caitlin Fox. Caitlin, please come forward with your family. Caitlin Fox is the daughter of Michael and Cordella Fox. She is currently a senior at Cabarrus Tech with a high school weighted GPA of 4.6 and a college unweighted GPA of 3.6. She will graduate this year with both her high school diploma and an associate in science degree. While Caitlin is still deciding on which college to attend after graduation, she knows she wants to major in wildlife biology and conservation. Caitlin is a true sanctuary. But just as important as her leadership is her positive attitude. Caitlin always lights up a room with her big smile and kind words. It is hard not to feel upbeat around her. As part of her work with the Science Club, Caitlin has spearheaded a campaign called Search for Serotonin, in which Science Club members interview students around campus about various topics in an attempt to increase happiness and positivity. With her goal being to make an impact on mental health, Caitlin composes the results into videos that are shared at our school-wide Full House meetings each month. When asked to describe Caitlin, her teacher said she is someone that can be relied on, someone that has a passion for serving others, someone that is kind from the inside out, and someone that has a strong desire to learn. That is why Caitlin Fox is Cabarrus Tech's choice for the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations, Caitlin. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Cabarrus College of Technology. Our next honoree from Cabarrus Tech is Connor Jones. Connor, please come forward with your family. Connor Jones is the son of Daniel and Bridget Jones. He is currently a senior at Cabarrus Tech with a high school weighted GPA of 4.8 and a college unweighted GPA of 4.0. He will graduate this year with both his high school diploma and an associate in arts degree. After graduation, he will be attending UNC Chapel Hill. Connor has made a huge impact during his time at Cabarrus Tech. He was instrumental in getting both the VEX Robotics team and Model United Nations Club started and is currently serving as its Model UN president. In addition, Connor is a member of National Honor Society, a peer mentor, volunteers at countless school events, and has served on the Superintendent's Student Advisory Board. Outside of school, he has been a volunteer gardener and soccer coach for the YMCA and currently works as a program assistant for the Boys and Girls Club. These combined experiences highlight Connor's commitment to lead through service. Recently, his peers celebrated this commitment by nominating him for Cobras Who Care Award, writing, "Connor was nice enough to work with a team of freshmen in robotics. We really appreciate him giving us a chance and teaching us new things." Along with this, he also provides help with things outside of VEX. He has greatly helped with English essays and other classwork. No matter what the context, Connor leads and serves others with joy. It is his dedication to servant leadership that makes Connor Jones their choice for the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations, Connor. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Cabarrus Early College of Technology. Next, from Cabarrus Early College of Technology is support staff member Lisa Robinson. Ms. Robinson, please come forward with your family. Ms. Lisa Robinson began working in Cabarrus County in 2018 at Royal Oak School of the Arts as their treasurer, and then came to Cabarrus Tech in 2020 as their one and only office staff. Ms. Robinson is the treasurer, data manager, receptionist, registrar, and nurse backup. At any given moment, you can find her on the phone with a parent needing to check a student out, a student at her desk needing a Band-Aid, a teacher waiting on a purchase order, and an administrator needing a report out of Power School. In the midst of all of this, she handles it with grace and a smile. As the first person people see and hear at Cabarrus Tech, Ms. Robinson leaves every interaction as a positive one. We are very fortunate to have someone like Ms. Robinson who makes sure that everyone has what they need to make students successful. It is this drive to provide outstanding support and services to students, parents, and staff that make Ms. Robinson an easy choice for the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations, Lisa. You're the Impact Through Education Award winner for Cabarrus Early College of Technology. And finally, from Cabarrus Tech is teacher Elizabeth Thompson. Ms. Thompson, please come forward with your family. Ms. Elizabeth Thompson was one of the original early college teachers to start the Cabarrus Kannapolis Early College in 2009. In 2018, she joined the staff at Cabarrus Tech and has served as a math, science, and seminar teacher. In the classroom, Ms. T, as the students call her, works hard to make sure her students are more than just successful in understanding the content, but also those 21st century skills they will need after they graduate. Outside the classroom, she wears many hats. Ms. T is part of our students' school lives from their beginning, middle, and end. She is the first teacher students work with as the leader of the 9th grade transition program to the last teacher where she also coordinates graduation. Then in between, she documents all of their high school experiences as the yearbook advisor. In addition to being a leader with students, she is a true teacher leader in the school. She has served as school improvement team chair and mentor to new teachers. Every school needs a Ms. T, and we're lucky to have her. It is her dedication to doing whatever is needed for her students and our school to be successful that make Ms. Thompson our choice for the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations, Elizabeth. You are the Impact Through Education Award winner for Cabarrus Tech. This concludes our Impact Award presentations for tonight. Congratulations to all our recipients, and thanks again to our partners, Equitable and Cabarrus Chamber of Commerce, for your partnership.
Thank you, Mr. Furr. We'll now move board members to 4.02 and the Hillbush Ford Teacher of the Month, and we'll invite Dr. Marion Bish to the podium. Welcome, Dr. Bish.
Thank you. Good evening to you, Madam Chair and board members, Dr. Kopicki, and also to our viewing audiences, both here and watching the live stream. It is always my pleasure to introduce to you our Hillbush Ford Teacher of the Month for February. We always want to begin by expressing our thanks to Mr. Tim Vaughn and Hillbush Ford for their tremendous generosity and sponsorship of our recognition program. Our Hillbush Ford Teacher of the Month for February is Lauren Coyle, a third grade teacher at Patriot STEM Elementary School. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Coyle, her family, and members of her administrative team to come forward. Tonight we want to share the nomination that was submitted by a parent about Ms. Coyle. My child has severe anxiety, including social anxiety. Ms. Coyle is constantly thinking of my child and considering how the day's events and activities may affect her. When my child has a panic attack, Ms. Coyle takes time to take a walk with her around campus, get her water, give her one of her favorite classroom plushies, and allow her time alone in a quiet space until she's recovered. Ms. Coyle is consistently emailing me to make sure my child is okay and for more ideas on how to help her in the classroom. I'm so grateful for her. She's made a huge difference in our lives. I imagine she's done the same for the rest of our students. She's incredible. Ms. Coyle, thank you for the impact you're making to teach and engage the students in your classroom, and congratulations on your selection as Cabarrus County Schools Hillbush Ford Teacher of the Month.
Everybody kind of squished together. All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3, and one more. You got it here. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Board members, we will move to 4.03, and there will be a special recognitions by Dr. Marion Bish.
So I want to ask, is Tanya Williams with us tonight? Tanya, will you come forward, please, with your family? Board members, Tanya Williams has previously been presented to the board as the Cabarrus County Schools Principal of the Year. Tanya then went on to participate in the Wells Fargo Regional Principal of the Year interview process. It was recently announced that Ms. Williams has been selected as the Wells Fargo Regional Principal of the Year. There are only 8 regions in North Carolina, with an additional region for all charter schools. This award means that Tanya will now participate with only 8 other school principals in the state of North Carolina for the selection of North Carolina Principal of the Year. She was surprised with this news at her school by the current North Carolina Principal of the Year, Dr. Patrick Green, Dr. Carol McNeil Horton, who is the Regional Education Facilitator for DPI, members of her family, the staff of Concord Middle, and Dr. Kopicki. We want to congratulate you, Tanya, and offer you our best wishes as you move to the next level of participation in this selection process. We are so proud to have you as part of the Cabarrus County Schools family. Congratulations. At this time, Madam Chair, members of the board, I'd like to invite Rachel Sivers and her family, along with Dr. Michael Williams, to come forward. They are members of the Human Resources team. So we have a little story to share with you. On Friday, February 3rd, Mr. Ed Hamilton, Chair of the North Carolina Employer Support of the Garden Reserve, visited the Human Resources offices to present an award to Ms. Sivers and Dr. Williams. The award recognizes employer support of the Garden Reserve and denotes them as patriotic employers. Last fall, one of our teachers received military orders that would take him out of the system for 6 months or more. Ms. Sivers worked with him on his leave so that his pay from Cabarrus County Schools and the military would bump up and work out. Later, the employee received some changed orders. There was an error in the orders, and the date for reporting for full active duty would have left the employee without pay for several weeks. Dr. Williams worked with the employee in the military to get the orders revised and corrected at the help of Robert Kelly in our office, who is a veteran, while Ms. Sivers worked to change his dates of leave at the last minute in order to prevent him from having a lapse in pay, which would have occurred over the Christmas holidays and cost him a half month's pay. The employee was so grateful that, totally unbeknownst to us, he nominated Rachel and Michael for this recognition. We are honored that their work was recognized. Our entire HR team works every day to support our employees. Our goal is to get to the hard yes, not the easy no, whenever we possibly can. And so I would like to ask Dr. Kopicki to present the awards that were presented to Michael and Rachel. Michael and Rachel. Madam Chair, in addition to the individual awards that were presented, Mr. Hamilton offered Cabarrus County Schools the opportunity to sign a statement of support for the Garden Reserve. It has nothing financial or obligatory on our part. It simply indicates that we support our Garden Reserve members and their active duty requirements. And so I present the statement of support to you for your consideration and possible signature.
Thank you, Dr. Bush. Okay, board members, we will move to 4.04 and our Great Wolf Lodge Everyday Hero Award with Dr. Jonathan Bowers. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate that. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Kopicki. It is certainly my pleasure to stand before you tonight to recognize this month's Everyday Hero Award recipient. This award is presented to an exceptional employee within auxiliary services, and this includes our Kids Plus programming, our facilities and maintenance, construction, school nutrition, and transportation divisions. Sponsored by Great Wolf Lodge, the Everyday Hero Award is intended to acknowledge the outstanding behind-the-scenes and sometimes often unnoticed work of our auxiliary services professionals. As we all know, there's great work being done by these individuals every day, and this should be recognized publicly. Nominations for this award are submitted by Cabarrus County School employees, students, and parents, and one recipient is selected to be recognized each month. If I could have at this time Miss Barnett, Michelle Barnett, and her family, please join us up front. This month's recipient comes from our Kids Plus program. With me here tonight is Miss Amber Diggins, director of our Kids Plus program. Ms. Diggins is going to share some testimonials that really speak to the impact that this month's recipient has had on children.
Thank you, Dr. Bowers. Michelle Barnett has worked for Kids Plus for over 18 years. She is currently the site coordinator at Cox Mill Kids Plus and is the interim site coordinator at Weinkauf Kids Plus. Additionally, this year she has provided temporary leadership coverage at Boger Kids Plus. In addition to all of that, she also serves on a number of committees for our program. She serves on the Risk Management Committee and the Interview Committee. She's always quick to volunteer to help others inside and outside of Kids Plus. When she's not busy providing support for her peers across the district, you'll find her assisting the school personnel. She'll be in the front office, assisting custodians, or helping out in the classroom with teachers. The parents, employees, and children absolutely love her and have amazing things to say about her, and I'd like to share some of that with you. One of the district administrators, who is also one of our customers, had this to say. Michelle stepped up and helped be a site coordinator at Boger Elementary while their current site coordinator is out for a while. She is still serving as a site coordinator for her school as well. Her communication and diligence has been comforting and appreciated by us parents. Another parent shared, I love Michelle. She is awesome. My son has been with her since kindergarten, and I have so much respect for Michelle to see how she runs the program and to see the transformation over the past 6 years. She loves the kids, does not play favoritism, and works to instill values that some may not get at home. Michelle is a gem. And one more statement from a parent. Miss Michelle is awesome. She has taken care of my older daughter, who is graduating from Cox Mill High this year, and now my youngest daughter. She has always been very easy to work with, kind, and caring. Her wonderful spirit is reflected in her staff and how they interact with kids. We love Kids Plus. Michelle's also had a positive impact on the group leaders that she's around. One of them stated, Miss Michelle is a great boss. She's very organized and always a great listener. She is excellent at problem solving and is truly a child whisperer. She has extreme patience with kids who are having a hard time and can redirect them into having a great day. And of course, the children adore her as well. Children at both Weinkauf and Cox Mill Kids Plus had these statements to share. She understands the kids that are different and treats them all equally. And Miss Michelle gives great hugs. I love her and her hair. Michelle has a strong desire to serve, and she does so with humility and grace. She demonstrates genuine love and care for the children and their families in our community, and also her fellow CCS employees. She is well loved by all, and we are happy to announce that she is our February Everyday Hero.
There we go. Right here.
Okay, board members, we will move to 4.05 in our 2022 CTE Teacher of the Year presentation with Mr. Rusty Parker. Welcome, Mr. Parker.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me be on the agenda today. This is exciting for me because I get to recognize one of my friends, so this is really nice. February is National CTE Month, and this month the CTE department would like to recognize an exceptional person on our team, Miss Patricia McTeague. If Miss McTeague and her family and Andrew Crook would please come forward. In 2022, the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, a lot of people know that as NCAT, they established the North Carolina CTE Teacher of the Year program. And the program's purpose is to honor CTE teachers who excel in the classroom and their support of CTE students. And I don't think there's a finer example of a high-quality teacher in CTE than Patricia McTeague. Miss McTeague and I have worked together for several years, and I've always been very impressed with her professionalism and classroom management skills. Before the spring 22 semester ended, I attended her final presentations for her marketing class. I stopped in one day and surprised her. What I noticed more than the content of the presentations was the relationship that she had with her students. The relationship she builds with students is phenomenal, and they respect her and she respects them. Her heart is firmly planted in seeing her students do their very best work, whether it's in the classroom, at a DECA competition, at a community service project. She enjoys seeing her students succeed. With such a high degree of mutual respect, she can push them and challenge them without fear that they're going to be offended or fall below expectations. And one thing that I noticed is she laughs with them a lot, and I thought that was impressive. What that means is it lets me know that she loves them and cares for them, and she wants the best for them. I'm very proud that I'm actually, Andrew Crook's probably very proud, that Patricia McTeague is on the staff at Cox Mill High School. It is a great thrill for me to recognize Patricia McTeague as the Cabarrus County Schools CTE Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. This concludes our recognitions for this evening. Congratulations to all who are recognized. This truly is the highlight of our business meeting. Board members, we will move to 5.01 and the approval of minutes. We will be approving minutes for January the 6th, January the 17th, and the minutes for the 21st for the Board of Education planning session. I need a motion to approve these minutes.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Furr, a second by Ms. Lindsay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Thank you, board members. We will move to 6.01 in our board chair comments. There's always a special time as a board to be able to recognize people that help the board over a long period of time. So we have a very special presentation that we would like to present to one of the leaders of our school system. So I'm going to come down to the podium with Dr. Kopicki, and we will recognize them there. So we would like to invite Miss Sue Burns to the podium. Miss Burns has been with Cabarrus County School System for over 25 years, the state of North Carolina for 25 years, right?
24.
24,
25.
and 31 total. Miss Burns has worked with the Board of Education, and she helps us with the policies. And she has always been professional, very helpful as far as helping us understand what the policies are. sometimes having a lot of questions from our board members, but just the same, we really want to just give her a proclamation. So I'm going to read this proclamation. Today I would ask that all take notice and acknowledge the importance of teachers, staff, counselors, especially support staff. Each play an individual and invaluable role in the success of students and the Cabarrus County school system. School superintendents and school boards are not as effective nor successful without them. Their dedication, hard work, and desire empowers children to be a positive impact, inspires their school to be great, and the school system to excellence. At this time, the Cabarrus County School System and the Board of Education would like to recognize one such person that we have been and are indebted to for her and for her continued selfless acts to plan, prepare, and organize the administrative services, including the development and implementation of the policies adopted by the Board of Education. Cabarrus County Schools was fortunate to hire Susan Sue Burns in 2006 as a school relations coordinator, and through promotions over the last 24 years, becoming the Director of Administrative Services. Sue has been a resource to parents, administrators, and staff through communication and problem solving. She has coordinated anti-bullying policy and procedures and guided the policy revision process for North Carolina PLS updates and local revisions throughout publication. She developed and provided professional development for administrators and staff in areas such as positive school climate, North Carolina Violence Prevention Act, and character education. Sue's dedication to Cabarrus County School Board in working on the district policy revisions process, formal grievance process, and school response to bullying process has been invaluable. The well-being of our community depends on the passion and dedication of each person to another. Each day, Sue uplifts and empowers to better others. She encourages others to realize the belief that each of us have the capacity to make a meaningful difference and contribute to our shared success. Sue selflessly gives of herself to help others develop their talents so they flourish and grow to the fullest potential. Now, therefore, we, the Cabarrus County School Board, do hereby recognize this special person that Sue Burns is, an indebtedness we have to her, and wish to proclaim this 13th day of February 2023 as Sue Burns Day. Thank you, Ms. Burns. We will go to 6.02 and our superintendent comments with Dr. John Kopicki.
Thank you, Mrs. Adcock. At this time, I'd like to hand the podium over to Mrs. Melody Marsh, the principal of the Royal Oaks School. She's going to introduce some of her students. Recently, there was a performance at the school in the realm of a dinner theater. And I was very fortunate to be able to observe the talent that exists at Royal Oaks and the great leadership that Mrs. Marsh demonstrates on a daily basis there. So I just could not pass up the opportunity to not invite some of those kids here this evening and have Mrs. Marsh introduce some of the lead people, especially the teachers that are leading these kids, and some of the wonderful things that are taking place there. So they're going to perform to you a little bit, a few songs this evening. And Mrs. Marsh, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pickey and members of the board. Thank you so much for the invite tonight. Again, I'm Melody Marsh, principal of Royal Oak School of the Arts, and we're very proud to be here tonight with our 7th and 8th grade dance, chorus, and theater majors under the direction of our amazing staff. Our encore teachers here with us tonight that help coordinate this performance and the performance that happened back at our school, Pure Imagination Dinner Theater. Amy Lynn Foster, arts coordinator and theater teacher for middle school. Danielle Mickens, theater teacher. Heather Pachette-Malinky, chorus and music, and Michaela Jones, dance. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce Mr. Andy Malinky. He is an honorary member of our school staff. He is the husband of our chorus teacher, Miss Pachette-Malinky, and he is always at every performance and makes sure we have our sound set up and just right. So he came extra early today to get everything set up so you guys would have a great experience. So without further ado, enjoy 2 of our songs from our recent dinner theater, Pure Imagination. And we hope you can come out and see Sioux School Kids, which is coming up in March, and also Matilda Jr., which is coming up later in the spring. Can't recall the date exactly, but we'll have those on our website, and we'll be sure to send you all invitations to the show. All right, thank you.
Figure this out. We're going to cut out for the circle. So spread out. And ready for big play.
We spend our whole lives wishing we weren't so stinking strange. They made us feel that way, but it's they who need to change. The way they think, that is. That's white Wolfie.
Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak flag fly. Never take it down, never take it down. Raise it way up high. Let your freak flag fly. Let it fly, fly, fly.
Want to be a monkey? So many strings attached.
But it's not a choice to make.
No, no.
It's just how you were hatched.
Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak flag fly. Never take it down, never take it down. Raise it way up high. Let your freak flag fly.
We've got magic, we've got power. Who
upcoming show, Matilda, May 5th, 6th, and 7th. This is only part of our cast. We have 80 kids in that show.
Never again will she get the best of me. Never again will she take away my freedom. And we won't forget the day we
Authorized me a little bit naughty. Never again. Never again. Never again. My mommy says I'm a miracle. Never again. Never again will we live behind bars. Never again. No, we know we are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs using revolting rhymes. We'll be revolting children till our revolting's done. And we'll have the church revolting. We're revolting. Ah! We are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs using revolting rhymes. We'll be revolting children till our revolting's done. And we'll have the church revolting. We're revolting.
We'll become a screaming horde. Take out your boxing and you think that the sun. Never again will we be ignored. We'll find out where the dog is stored and draw little pictures on the board. It's so
We're revolting. We can SPL how we like. If another was wrong, wrong is right. What's N-O-R-T-Y? Cause we're a little bit naughty, so we gotta stay inside the lines. We disobey at the same time. The church will can do.
We can take you have an FHU.
You didn't think you pushed us too far. There's no one back now. We are R-E-V-O-L-T-I-N.
Revolting time.
U-S-I-N-G. U-S-I-N-G. O-V, R-E-V, O-L-T-I-N-G. If it's too late for you, we are revolting. We are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs, using revolting rhymes. We'll be revolting children till our revolting's done. And if it's too late for you, we are revolting.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So to all of our students, I want to say thank you very much for your performance. You are a true inspiration, and it's wonderful to see you perform and to remind us of our why and the tremendous talent that exists here in Cabarrus County Schools. I really appreciate you coming out this evening, so thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Marsh.
Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely.
I think we need to go home.
There you go, right? So you only saw a snippet of it. It was actually about an hour and 15-minute show, and there were many songs and many performances that took place. And you know, it's wonderful to see them perform here this evening and to do it in such an adaptive, quick way, because it's obviously a very cramped environment. It's not a stage. But it's just important that we remember our why and the kids that we serve and why we are here. So again, I thank them for coming out this evening, and I appreciate the leadership of Mrs. Marsh. Real quick, I want Dr. Bowers to come up and just inform our board of the Cox Mill project that has just been come to completion to alleviate some of our transportation issues there in the morning. Dr. Bowers?
Thank you, Dr. Pickey. I appreciate that, and good evening once again, Madam Chair, members of the board. You'll notice that there's an item that is included in tonight's board docs, I believe. It's underneath item 6.02. It's a separate attachment there. Bear with me, I think I've lost control up here. But you should be able to pull that up and kind of give you an overview of what the kind of sort of the mock-up and the schematic looks like within site out at Cox Mill High School. There it is. Thank you. So if you take a look at this, this is kind of the new queuing pattern that we have in place. This is set to launch on February the 21st. As many of you may know and may have heard, we have had some congestion issues in front of the school that have kind of pushed some parent-student drop-off traffic out onto the main thoroughfare. In an effort to kind of alleviate some of that, our construction team, really in kind of sort of their innovative design efforts, they were able to kind of sort of use the existing school footprint and reroute what they believe to be will be an effort to kind of relieve that traffic and kind of bring parents off of the major roadway, more so onto the campus, create more of a stacking model there so we really can kind of reduce some of the backup that we've experienced. Also, to go alongside that, we've also tried to make a concerted effort to redirect some of the parent drop-off traffic away from the main entry point of the school and bring that into what is the already existing bus loop. If you look at the graphic that you have, you'll notice more or less at the bottom of that diagram, you'll see there that's where we're rerouting the current parent-student drop-off traffic for both AM and PM routes, and then also bringing the buses in as well. Buses will still have access to kind of sort of where the staging area would be, but you'll notice that we're actually utilized more of the campus itself to be able to create a little bit of a roundabout there where we bring the parents down, stack them around, and then we can create more of a controlled access point there so we don't really have a whole lot of cross traffic patterns taking place. The school has really been involved in this every step along the way, and it's really kind of had offered some meaningful feedback that have really helped us kind of change these iterations over time. So we're optimistic that this will help kind of with some of the outflow of the traffic onto the major thoroughfare, and then we're able to kind of put some traffic control measures hopefully there when this takes effect to be able to kind of help with some of the cross patterns that you'll see. So this right here, as I said, is to take effect on the 21st. Know that the school is going through messaging efforts right now to let the community know and to make them aware and to certainly keep them abreast of what's taking place. And then we'll have district support staff on site as well to kind of monitor this for the first phase of implementation as well. So I'll answer any questions you might have.
Sure.
How has the community been informed? Has it been through the principal?
Yes, ma'am. The school has taken lead on those efforts as well. We can certainly support as needed if we feel like there needs to be more of a wider net to reach, but we felt like they knew their community, their stakeholders best, and were probably best connected to them. School newsletters, school communications, kind of just general postings, whatever they've used as kind of their traditional methods.
And one of the intentions of this evening was to bring Dr. Bowers up to inform the public through a board meeting publicly so that, you know, it's another way for us to communicate that out. And Mr. Crook will be informing the public, and I imagine too we'll be sending out some Blackboard Connects and some other venues as well, some other mediums as well to make sure that our public is well informed. But hopefully it will not solve the problem, but we do believe it's going to alleviate some of the traffic congestion that we see out there in the morning and the afternoon. So thank you, Dr. Bowers.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Sure,
Sorry.
yes, ma'am.
Did you guys like solicit for public input to this actual plan here, or this was just created by our school staff?
So the school staff kind of took lead on that based on feedback they get from parents and from students. They're certainly best positioned to kind of see what are the everyday flow patterns and to be more responsive to that. So we were certainly relying on their lead to kind of make sure that that kind of sort of forum was tapped, if you will. So I don't know the extent to which took place, but we certainly deferred to them to say they would be speaking best for their community.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think Mr. Cohn give us a little perspective on that as well.
And Ms. Sanders, we did have a traffic engineer involved in the process of looking at the overall movements on the site and had them work with us in trying to redistribute where that traffic was.
I'm sorry, I do have one question. Okay, so you said this will fix some of the problem. Do we know what that will look like, or we're going to gauge it for some length of time? Because what if this does not fix the problem? Like what next?
That's a great question. No, yeah, exactly. No, it's a fair question at this point. So again, what we're hoping to certainly accomplish through this is to really kind of relieve some of the backup that has certainly created some of the choke points in front of the school, and then really contributes a little bit to more of the bog down and the slowdown. Again, we'll know more when it takes effect. Again, with the help of the engineer, the school, and their feedback, we're certainly believe that this will be the first step in that direction. We'll continue to monitor and assess, and certainly if we see need for further evaluation, we'll certainly consider that.
So we're guided by the Municipal School Transportation Assistance Group of DOT on the internal stacking capacity of a high school. They have a spreadsheet that you apply all the numbers of the capacity of the school, the number of staff into that spreadsheet, and it gives you what a expected queuing capacity or stacking capacity is. Currently, the school has about 600 lineal feet of capacity, and we're required to have 2,500 lineal feet. With the improvements we made, we have 2,600 lineal feet, plus we've doubled the amount of carpool drop-off area that Mr. Crook and his team will be able to unload students at. So to answer your question, we should, based on the calculator and what MSTA provides us, get all that traffic off of Cox Mill Road.
That definitely helps to bring perspective to what all went into this and where we feel like it will bring us. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And I want to thank Mr. Carter and especially Dr. Bowers, because he kind of was thrown into this as soon as he walked in here and has kind of taken the bull by the horns to make sure that this got up and off the ground. So his leadership was key, working with Brian and Tim Wilder and their crew to make sure that this was a priority, that we took care of it right away. So I appreciate Dr. Bowers' good work on this. And then Mr. Furr is going to update the board on a new communications item that we're going to use to communicate better and more effectively with our public and seek some input. Over the last year, the board has spoken often about making sure that we're finding ways to communicate with our public and to get some feedback. And Mr. Furr has done some homework and has found a product that we believe is going to help us with that. And he's going to give the board a brief update on that as well. Mr. Furr?
I wanted to take advantage, Madam Chair, Dr. Hickey, of this public forum to talk about a new public forum that we're going to launch on our webpage. So I'm really excited. Part of the strategic plan, Priority 6, is to increase two-way communications with stakeholders. So in a modern world, we're looking for best practices to do that. We think we found a pretty good platform. We're going to give it a shot. We hope to increase engagement with our parents, increase two-way communication, invite more stakeholders into some of the projects we're working on. I'm just going to do a quick run through tonight. This project, I just hit launch on it today, so it is active. I'll give you the address in just a second. Tomorrow's when we're really going to start pushing it out as a district. But I just want to give you some quick rundown of the things we've put on for our debut. So first, our project webpage is engagewithccs.com. We picked that name because this is an engagement platform. It's made for civic governments. We're one of the first school systems to adopt this platform as a way to engage with our parents. Like I said, I think it's got some intrinsic value. We hope our parents will take part in it and participate in some civic engagement and some forum type structures they have available. It is a modern avenue of increasing two-way civic communications. With a registrant's participation, it enables community input on a variety of topics on their time, 24/7, 365 days a year. It does some of the things similar to what speaking at a board meeting would do, only you don't have to do it. You don't have to come to a board meeting to do it. So we're taking it to them on their phone, on their tablets, on their desktops, on their iPads. We're taking our open platforms out into the community instead of bringing the community into us. It also provides internal stakeholders with data-driven solutions where we can make informed decisions. So it surveys and polls, it turns all those into numbers that we'll be able to look at. It produces reports for us. It even turns open comments into a scoring system, so we'll be able to look at those with a numerical value. How does it work? The project, which I'll show in just a second, or the site, which I'll show in just a second, it divides initiatives into things called projects. So you may have construction projects, which I'll show you in just a second. You may have surveys, you may have polls, you may have budget projects you're working on. You may just be soliciting community input on community engagement type activities, community meeting locations and things of that nature. The projects allow for a variety of community input, polls, surveys, forums, general comments. Has a special feature for what they call sticky notes. So if you just want to ask a general question about what do you think the colors of a new school should be, they can go in and put sticky notes on a page. It makes it much more interactive, which is in modern communications, that is a way to reach a much broader audience by including them in your sites. Like I said, our initial launch was today. The 3 projects that are on our site right now are a strategic plan. It is a flip book for the community to look at. There is a communications survey on there. We're calling it the Winter 2023 Communication Survey. We are going to do some work on our webpage, some restructuring and things on our district webpage. We're going to do some restructuring. We are soliciting community input through this survey on what they would like to see on our webpage. So it's a simple 20-question survey. I think they're all multiple choice except 3 open-ended comments. I even made the open-ended comments not optional to encourage people to do it. You do have to register for the page in order to participate in the surveys. It's going to ask for your name, it's going to ask for your zip code, and it's going to ask for your affiliation with CCS, and that's alumni, student, community member, parent, or CCS employee. Just so we can filter surveys and those things. If we're asking questions specific to employees, we want to be able to filter out employee answers to questions. So that's what the registration's for. There's also an R. Brown McAllister project update that Mr. Cohn and his department have worked hard on. These are a work in progress. I've thrown these things on them. This is not our district website. This is an accessory to that. So it will be an external click available tomorrow under the community tab on our main webpage. I'm going to scroll back. I'm going to take control of here and click on engagewithccs.com. Can you get rid of that part and then hit return? Well, even the best laid plans. Well, I tried. I promise it'll be working in the morning. But it looks good. It feels good. We're looking forward to getting some data in, so we'll start pushing out. You will see things on Facebook and social media tomorrow with us pushing out that web address so people can begin participating. Anybody have any questions? I'll be glad to answer those. Like I said, this is new for us, kind of new in the school environment. It's not new to civic and town governments, but it is new for schools. So we're going to see how it goes. And I've encouraged other departments to be thinking of ways that they can allow for community participation as we go forward. Questions?
So I see this like customer service. You call in, you have an issue or a problem or whatever have you, want information. This is a place where you can go for some response. Do I see it correctly that way?
It could be. So like I said, it has features with surveys, polls, sticky notes, general comments. It also has a general opens questions feature where you could just have, what questions would you like to answer? And then each project features pages on the side, and it says who's listening. So for example, tomorrow or tonight when you go to the site, if you click the communication survey, when it opens up on the right hand side, you're just going to say who's listening, and my name's going to be there and my contact information. If that were a comment type situation, ask a question or leave a comment, then I would get an email immediately to someone who left a comment or asked a question, and then I could go in and reply directly on there. So you're basically building a frequently asked questions full of answers on a public-facing web page, which that's what we hope to do with it. So yes, your questions can be answered on that public-facing page.
I think this is awesome. Thanks for the presentation, and I look forward to seeing this work out for us and being able to communicate with our community. Thank you.
And just to clarify, so for parents or anybody in the community that wants to communicate with us through this or try it out or take the survey, they're going to have to register first because there's a sign-in page, but they'll have to be a new registrant first.
Right, so they do have to register to participate in the interactive thing. So I think what's happening with that click is it's going to my admin login page. So I got to go back and fix that link. But if you go to the regular page, the public-facing projects you can see, but you cannot participate in the surveys or the interactive features without registration, and that's so
okay,
we know
great.
who they are. So you You will be able to see the construction page right now and the strategic plan page. You will not be able to participate in the communication survey without a registration.
So if people are curious, they can still check it out.
They can still check it out, but they're going to have to register to participate. So we encourage them to register. We would like for them to participate. That's how we hope to use the site.
Great. Thank you.
I'm sorry, one more thing. So I just wanted to say this out loud. This is better than Facebook, because Facebook or social media, and I'm not trying to throw any site under the bus, but it allows for, instead of just complaining or having an issue and nothing being able to get done about it because somebody may not see it, somebody can see this and actually do something about it. So that's just a plug to say, you know, if you've got an issue, look here, because you could potentially, or you will get a response and possibly get your issue addressed.
Yeah, so we do encourage constructive comments. We are not initially starting tomorrow with an open forum type question on their strategic plan. The communication survey and the construction are a survey and two basically read-only sites. But yes, we are looking for ways to utilize that open public forum feature.
So I just wanted to say that I appreciate you taking this on. I know that as a board, one of our struggles has always been, what can we do to communicate more and better with the community and the parents? And so when you brought this idea up a few months ago, I thought it was fantastic. I'm so excited that we're starting this now, and I'm hopeful that this will be something that will solve some of the problems that we've had in the past with communication to our parents as well. And so thank you for doing this, Mr. Furr. You did a great job with it.
Thanks.
And more to come. Mr. Furr is working on a lot of projects in their communications department to improve what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we'll keep you updated and informed on that. And Mr. Furr, we appreciate that presentation, so thank you very much. Just real quickly, I just want to remind folks that our kindergarten registration for the 23-24 school year will begin tomorrow. We'd like to welcome all of our future families and encourage those with rising kindergartens to please register early. Our online registration information will be posted to our district website at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So our elementary schools will be hosting multiple open house events for rising kindergartens as well, and schedules for those events will be available on our district and school web pages. Please take advantage of these opportunities to visit your schools and become acquainted with our building staff. To our community, our C4 event at Cabarrus Arena is on March 14th. In cooperation with the Cabarrus Chamber of Commerce and in partnership with them, the Cabarrus County Schools will host the Cabarrus County Career Connections Day on March 14th at Cabarrus Arena. This year's C4 event will feature a morning session for high school juniors and seniors, as well as an evening session for the general public. If your business would like to be involved, you can find more information by going to our district homepage and clicking Career Connections Day 2023 under the Community drop-down menu. On on Saturday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, right? Get the date wrong, right? Saturday, April 1st, Cabarrus County Schools will host a hiring fair at 10 a.m. until noon at Harold Winkler Middle School. This event is not only for prospective teachers, but all school support personnel positions as well. These include school nutrition, transportation, maintenance, and many others. For information, please visit our district webpage and choose Human Resources under the department's drop-down menu, or call the HR office and they will guide you to the hiring fair information. And then lastly, I just want to remind folks that quickly coming upon us, I know it's February, but you're going to blink and graduation. The class of 2023 is going to be walking across that stage soon. The members of this class have begun their final semester, and we encourage all of our students to finish strong and stay focused on the end goal as you and your families are making plans for your big day. Please check our district website under Our District tab for complete graduation schedules. And graduations for the early colleges will be held on May 20th at West Cabarrus High School. And the Performance Learning Center and the Cabarrus Virtual Academy will graduate on June 8th at the Cabarrus Arena. Our traditional high schools will hold graduations on June 9th and 10th at the arena. And then lastly for me, just an update for the board and the public. Over the last few weeks, myself and our chair, Mrs. Adcock, were able to go to Raleigh and visit with our legislative representatives, Representative Crutchfield, Representative Baker, and Senator Newton. And we presented them with the legislative agenda of the board, and we had great discussions on recruitment and retention, our accountability system, our student health and well-being, our school calendar, bullying in schools, our pre-K kindergarten programs, and also the Leandro issue that exists out there. I can tell you that our representatives were incredibly gracious with their time, spend quite a bit of time having good discussions on each topic, and are definitely advocating strongly for us in Raleigh. They were very interested and asked a lot of really good questions to kind of gain some context around all of the issues. So we were very appreciative of that, and I can tell you that they received our agenda in a very positive manner. And I already know that they're kind of trying to tie some of this information to some of their discussions and bills that are out there in Raleigh. So I appreciate that time and in building that relationship. They are advocating for the Cabarrus County school system, and I deeply appreciate their time and the work that they do. So we will keep you updated on how those things progress, but I just wanted to give you an update and let you know that we are out there promoting our legislative agenda that the board has proposed, and it was well received by our elected officials. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Kopicki. Okay, we will move to 6.03, Board Attorney Comments, and Mr. Jay White. Hello, Mr. White.
Hello. Thank you, Madam Chair, board members. Wanted to touch base with you about a couple of bills that have been introduced. I talked to you last week about Senate Bill 49, and that's the parents' rights. That has moved over into the House. So that is no edits, no changes have been made so far, and don't know if it's going to be when it's going to be taken up or if it's going to be taken up, but keep an eye out for that. Another is that we have Senate Bill or House Bill 8, which is interesting. It's allowing computer science courses to fulfill one science elective credit. That is just staying in the House right now. There's no movement on it whatsoever. But that would certainly have an impact on the school system. Another is Senate Bill 83, that in essence is saying no TikTok or WeChat apps would be allowed on government-issued devices, and that would be to government-issued devices both with the state, and if I remember correctly, it also includes employees of local political subdivisions, so that could impact our teachers. That again has not moved much. That was just recently introduced. Another one that I think is important for us to be aware of is Senate Bill 90 that we'll be keeping track of, and that is searches of students' persons. It allows an administrator. They're going to amend statute and allow an administrator to, if there is let me see here, reasonable suspicion that the student has or is violating school rules or policies or state or federal law and has probable cause, can search the person. So that would have to be in private, that would not be public. So there's some things to keep an eye out there, and those are the ones that I thought were pretty important for y'all to be aware of at this point in time.
Board members, any questions or discussion? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, we'll move to 7.01, and our guest speakers address the board. Before we have our public comment, I'm going to just go over procedures for this time. It is now time for public comment. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak, and an individual speaking for a group may be allowed up to 5 minutes at the discretion of the board chair to express interests and concerns related to the official business of the board and school districts. The speakers will be called in the order in which we receive the request. A person may not be substituted for a speaker, nor may one speaker donate time to another speaker. If a speaker runs out of time, then the speaker may leave the additional information with the board clerk. Statements reasonably perceived to be disruptive or imminently threatening to the orderly operation of the meeting shall not be permitted. any limitation on public comment shall be viewpoint neutral. The board chair has the authority to rule the speaker out of order. If a speaker or attendee willfully interrupts, disturbs, or disrupts this meeting and refuses to leave after being asked by the board chair, then the speaker may be escorted out and could be arrested for trespassing or disrupting an official meeting. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made by the presenter. So we will start with our first speaker, and that is Paul Wanish. Welcome, Mr. Wanish.
Yeah, I just want to know. Okay. We'll try and make this a little more condensed than we've done before. Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Kopecky. Last month we looked at the hub stops and what hubs did for transportation and how it negatively impacted program choice. What I wanted to do this month is take your GRS report, which has ethnicity data, and sort it out based on program choice and figure out what's really happening. So I took all the took all the GRS data, split it into elementary, middle, and high school, took all the schools for each ethnicity and sorted them by the highest percentage of that ethnicity in a particular group. I took your 5 highest ethnic groups and listed them here in the charts. And then I color-coded if one of the schools, obviously without the hub stops, has the capability of offering program choice. So you'll see that, you'll see that in Hispanics and blacks have several different choices, never more than 2, that they could enroll in. So they don't have the full gamut because it has to be in their zone, okay? But if you look at the whites have J.N. Freeze students, which actually is a magnet school, doesn't have a very big land area, so I'm not sure the count is right, and Asians have no capability to go to program choice. If you go to the other, and I started with middle because middle is so problematic. The zones change, the districts change, so the zones don't map to where the elementaries are. People have a lot of problems trying to move into middle, and then from middle to high you get the same thing. And in high you have all different kinds of program choice. So I'm going to leave that data with you and move to the second to the last page. And that has to do with the my ask. For STEM specifically, they allowed the freeze to pick up from Concord schools in regional developments. I'd ask the same thing be done for Northwest Cabarrus over to Harris Road. Hubs were set up there, but in fact, if you take those students and take them to Northwest Cabarrus, they'll travel half the time in each day, right? Their bus rides will cut down in half. You get more bus drivers back, less gas mileage. But this has to happen quickly. Ms. Black already pointed out, she already identified the class rosters for next year. They've allocated all of the, okay. So I would like you to do that. The only other one I wanted to bring up, I'll go over just for a second, because I looked at the start date that you put in place, and I would only observe that you may be at a legal, may have a legal problem. I tried to forward it to the lawyer and it didn't get there. But starting in September, if somebody opens a class action against the school board, you may be in a lawsuit.
Thank you, Mr. Wanish.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Melanie Freeman. Welcome, Ms. Freeman.
Good evening. Do I need to push anything? Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Kopecky. Your previous meeting introduced the new business of redistricting for Cabarrus County Schools. I felt the presentation was very thorough, and at first glance seems to be allowing for sufficient public feedback. I understand there are many areas to consider in this plan, and it will finally end up here at the board for final approval many months from now. However, there was one area I thought should be included in your considerations that was not mentioned. Last year, I had the privilege of meeting with several law enforcement officers in the county, and whereas they are consulted over active safety measures, they have not been involved in the initial planning of the schools and the areas they would be overseeing. And two issues came out in these discussions that caught my attention. Whereas there are fire codes and building codes, there are no police safety codes. One such example that one of the officers mentioned to me was that the placement of windows to provide clear sight lines into the buildings and hallways. Some of these windows are very high on the walls up there, and they would not have clear sight room. Another is the very real problem of vaping in the bathrooms. Are you aware that most students don't feel safe going to the bathroom and will literally avoid it all day? Secondly, they agreed the overcrowding issues and maximum numbers had exceeded what law enforcement could reasonably protect. And high school students also talked with me about this overcrowding, especially when moving from the classrooms, not in the classrooms. Sometimes formulas don't always address the issues, as well as boots on the ground perspective. When considering neighborhoods and traffic, a suggestion was brought forward by a fellow candidate and parent, Lane Jarvis. His suggestion was for the placement of police substations as part of schools' neighborhoods. I think this is also an excellent suggestion and could be fleshed out further by having a law enforcement representative included in the process from the ground up. This is not meant as a comprehensive list by any means, and I am not an expert, but I really think that the parents and all concerned would benefit from having a law enforcement consultant along with each step of this planning process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Board members, will move to 8.01, our committee reports. And I know Mr. Tim Furr has an update for us. Mr. Furr?
Yes, ma'am. As most of you know, the Cabarrus Education Foundation, they do quite a lot of work for our students in the county. And some of the things they've got going on right now is one of them's called, and most of it's around reading and getting our kids up to speed. But one of the items, or one of the projects is called Book of Palooza, is a way to improve the third grade reading level by increasing children's home libraries. An event was held last Friday, February 10th at Rocky River Elementary with 750 kids receiving a new book. The next event will be February 24th at Wolf Meadow. Reading plus Mentoring for Success is another program that is well underway. This program is also designed to improve the third grade reading levels. Mentors are trained and professionally guided to work with children one-on-one, building literacy skills. And also coming up, they have an annual fundraiser which is called the Game of Games networking event. It's February 25th from 7 to 10:30 p.m. and that is going to be at the Cabarrus Brewing Company Kettle Room on McGill Avenue. If you need a ticket, see me, or you can go to their website. And also, this week starts, or this past weekend, all your winter athletic teams are underway for playoffs and state tournaments, and so I got a feeling we'll be having some state champions before long to come before the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Furr. Anybody else have any updates?
So thanks, Tim, for adding that information about playoffs. Go West Cabarrus. I'll also just wanted to add to what Tim said about the Cabarrus County Education Foundation Game of Game Nights. It'll be on February 25th, and their website to look into getting tickets. Of course, you can get Mr. Tim Furr and get a ticket from him, but it's www.ccefnc.org. Again, www.ccefnc.org. I will state my husband and I have gone on and to be table sponsors, and our tickets will go to some deserving staff here in CCS, so we are proud to be able to have done that this year.
Any other comments? Mr. Walter?
Yeah, this weekend I was able to attend the All-County Middle School Band and the All-County High School Band that we have here in Cabarrus County, and this is really a fantastic event that our band directors and staff put on for our students. They bring an outside clinician to come work with our students, actually all Cabarrus County students, including Kannapolis as well. And they work for a day and a half, and they put on a big concert, and it has been fantastic. It really was really amazing on what our students can do. Some of the soloists that we have, just my mouth dropped on how talented some of our musicians are, and this is just a great program that we have every year, and special thanks to those that put it on. And Jason Childress, who was one of the visiting conductors there. He's actually Cabarrus County homegrown Beverly Hills, Concord Middle, Concord High student. Came back and got the county to play the Concord fight song, including a couple people from Kannapolis, so that was pretty funny. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Walter.
One other thing, and that's for, they didn't invite me back, but Sam's, I think you're participating in an event on the 25th as well. It's for a good cause in Mount Pleasant. You want to tell them about that?
Yeah, on the 25th, the Mount Pleasant Public Library is having the annual, reopening after COVID for a couple of years. It's a performance that's definitely a fundraiser. The more we mess up, the funnier we are. So you're encouraged to get tickets to that.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I just ask a question? There are a lot of things going on in our district, and there are very few of us to attend those. But I just wanted to make sure we can get our calendars updated as to the events, and maybe even schools able to put things on our calendar to invite us to those events so that we can keep track of them.
Okay. We can work on that. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to 8.02, our construction update with Mr. Brian Cohn. Good evening, Mr. Cohn.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kopicki. This is our February update on the projects we have ongoing in the construction department. We'll start with R. Brown McAllister Elementary School. Even given all the poor weather conditions we've been experiencing over the last few weeks, we continue foundation work in the main area A. We also have underground electrical and plumbing taking place in those areas as well. Again, that's where the kitchen, cafeteria, gymnasium, or gymatorium spaces are. Those are our big box spaces, so trying to get all that groundwork in place prior to the slabs on grades being poured. We also have the fire-rated CMU walls. These are the big firewalls that are in between the classroom wings and the main area A section of the school itself. Those are going up. The C wing firewall is 100% complete, and the B wing is about 25% complete. We continue mass grading on the multipurpose field in the back of the school, in between the inclement weather that we've been having. This is to make preparations for the structural steel that will be coming next week for us. We've also made preparations to begin the slab on grade pour for Area C. That's our first slab pour for the classroom wing. That'll be taking place this Wednesday at about 6:30 in the morning, and then we'll be moving on to Area B there after that. So. We also, in Area B, the other side of the classroom, when we have footing excavation taking place, and it'll be completed by the end of this week. We also have the crane for the structural steel erection that'll be mobilizing the end of this week, as well as deliveries, as I said, beginning next week. And then we're hopeful by the 20th of this month we'll have all the foundation work completed and in place. We continue our geotechnical third-party cylinder testing and subgrade testing as they continue to excavate footings and they get poured. The other classroom wing, we've got underground electrical work that is taking place and going in. Curb and gutter has been started on the bus lot. You can see there that's coming in at the south entrance. We're hopeful that by the end of this week we'll start seeing some stone base going in place, and that will establish that as our primary construction entrance for all the traffic going in and out of the site. With that, we are going to run into some challenges over the summer that we're working with Rogers on. Logistically, the north entrance, which is currently the exit for the school itself, will be closed off for the entire summer to make the improvements to that main north entrance. We will have a logistics plan so that summer activities taking place on that site will be able to still manipulate and get around and exit the site comfortably. And we won't be able to flow through like we normally do, but we're going to create some turnarounds in there for them. So, but that will only be for the summer months, and it'll be open back up for the next school year. They continue working on the slopes. You can see there at the main detention pond at the back. Stabilizing these slopes is critical as part of our erosion control measures and requirements that are in place. The main water line meter vault has been set. That's a pretty big task out at south entrance. That means that City of Concord can now come in and set the primary meter for water onto the site so we can get temporary water back there. And then lastly, the fire alarm. The fire line, the main fire line is about completed on the north side of the campus around the back of the school. So those are some major milestones from a utility and infrastructure standpoint that are getting wrapped up. You can see underground electrical there in one of the classroom wings. That's looking at the area A and that large space in the middle there. That is your gymatorium and your cafeteria space. And you can start seeing the footprint of the EC and Art in the very north side of that image there. That's just another vantage. That's the CMU firewall there on your right that we were speaking to earlier, and then the one just at the top of the page is the one that's about 50% complete. There's the updated aerial image from about over Union Street looking back at the entire campus of R. Brown McAllister. The south entrance where the buses and S&P will enter are there on the right-hand side. The north entrance there on your left where parents, staff, and visitors will be entering and exiting that site. And then that's looking at the south side of the campus back towards the existing R. Brown McAllister Elementary School. Any questions on R. Brown?
Is it on schedule?
Yes, ma'am, we are on schedule.
Okay, thanks.
Just some statistical updates for you. You can see we're about 34% complete on the project itself, the 603 project days. Tried to keep track of our diversity spending there. We had a goal of a little over $4 million, and to date we spent out about $147,000 of that, of those minority businesses. You can see we had planned up to date about 43 weather days, and we've had 47, so we're doing pretty good. We were ahead of that curve, obviously, up until the last couple of months, but we're starting to catch some of those days, obviously. That's your change order summary over there on the right-hand side. Gives you the contract value. As you can see, we have no pending change orders or requests made from the contractor on this project to date. We have a little bit of CM contingency that we have utilized for some early release of hollow metal frames due to the lead times on getting those frames and the timeline of when they have to be installed in relationship to the masonry walls going up. So we had authorized that with Rogers Builders, and that is money that is built into the contract, so it's not an additional cost to the school district. And the owner use of allowances there, you can see we've used about 3% of our owner allowances. That's for unsuitable soils and all the site conditions. And that's where we use to track rock removal or any of those things that we may encounter that were unforeseen, but we have allowances money built into that contract so we can cover those costs. Questions?
Any questions, Ms. Sandage?
How do you what's the word I'm looking for here? How do you get the minority businesses? Yeah, I never heard that, and yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we have a 10% goal in the district to capture at least 10% of the businesses that are contracted with us to be a minority business, whether it's a woman-owned business or a black-owned business. They are registered at the state as one of those minority businesses. Obviously, we're contracted with Rogers Builders, and they're a minority-owned business because they're female-owned. So, the whole contract, in essence, is a minority contract. But we ask them to hit a target goal of at least 10% of their subcontractor trades to track and make sure we get minority firms in there, whether that's a second-tier sub or a third-tier sub, giving them every opportunity we can. And when you break those packages into smaller packages, it's not such a big job or big scope. It gives that contractor, that smaller contractor, an opportunity to be a part of the project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Combs.
Real quick on move on to Northwest Cabarrus. So we had our final schematic design review meeting the last week of January. This week we'll embark on the district level meetings with the individual groups, starting to refine those spaces once again. We do have floor plans. We have a footprint of the building now in place that we can look at, and we can work with each of those departments. We also had our meeting with North Carolina Department of Transportation, MST, on those internal movements once again, the challenges that you have with such a large school. This school is going to have to capture just close to 3,000 lineal feet of queuing capacity, which we have captured internally on the site already. We are still anticipating the first week of March to begin issuing the request for qualification statements from CM at risk firms for part of that project, having them on board through the DD phase and the CD phase to go through pre-construction pricing exercises so that we know what the cost of this high school looks like in today's dollars. Obviously not knowing when the release of the construction money will be, but that gives us a talking point to go back to the county with. A couple of the interior rendered model there that we've been provided, and I do know that the school letters are incorrect. It's not in WCHS, it's just NCHS. And then the floor plan there on the right hand side, and that's really all we have right now, but those are the plans we'll be working with each district department on in terms of laying out their spaces. And last one, we'll touch on the Southern High School project. We've talked about this a couple of times. Obviously, we began this process the end of last summer, identified the property 75 acres down off of 2427 in the Midland area. About September, October of last year, we were informed that there were some title issues with the seller of that property, and essentially were told to push pause on any work that we normally would partake in as far as due diligence on that site. Last week, we were informed by the county attorney that it appears those title issues have been resolved, that they will get them worked out, and essentially have green-lighted us to go ahead and begin the due diligence process. Unfortunately, we kind of chewed up all of the time that was a part of that original contract with waiting on them for the title work. So we had made a formal request to Cabarrus County back to the seller to have an additional 6 weeks of due diligence time for us to perform the task that we needed to on that site. With that said, in the next few months, I should have some information on those geotechnical due diligence tasks and bring that back to you. And again, this land purchase was a part of the previous capital borrow for Cabarrus County, so it is an already funded cost on their behalf. And that's all I had. Any questions?
Ms. Escobar?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Northwest Cabarrus High School. When the architects presented to us, I guess last year, they talked about engaging with the community about what they were designing. Is there any plans for that?
I'm not sure how much community engagement. There'll be more school level engagement that we'll engage students. We really need to get to a more refined plan of what the footprint of the school is going to look like. If you get too many of those decisions or ideas in one room, it's sometimes hard to nail down exactly what it needs to be. So as we get further along in this process through this next phase, then yes, those engagements will happen.
And if the construction is delayed by a year, will that affect the cost?
It's quite possible, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
So where are we, this is in relation to Northwest, where are we in relation to groundbreaking on Northwest? I know that's probably a long ways out, but are we following the steps and are we moving along on that?
We are moving, we will be moving along in that process, but that's a larger discussion between Cabarrus County Schools and Cabarrus County from a funding perspective and when that happens to identify when that groundbreaking might take place.
I'll probably just email you.
That'd be fine.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, we'll move to 8.03 and a human resource update with Dr. Marion Bish. Welcome back, Dr. Bish.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board. Dr. Kopicki, I didn't do a PowerPoint since we had just given a rather in-depth overview of where we are in human resources. I wanted to update you just a little bit. This is the time of year that educators live, and as well do you, in the past, present, and future all at the same time. So we live with continuing to fill vacancies. One of the things I'm proud of is a lot of our schools are fully staffed. We have, out of 23 or 24 elementary schools, we are missing 7 elementary teachers. Our biggest needs continue to be EC and CTE. Other than that, we're in really good shape. In talking to many districts around us, I'm trying to be real careful about what I say because we are in such good shape. At our middle school level, outside of EC and CTE, out of 8 schools, we're down 2 English, 3 math, and 1 math science. I mean, I'm just really proud of the work that our principals have done and that the folks in the HR office have done. I mean, we are screening applicants, we are pushing names to principals, we're setting up interviews and doing some here and then pushing applicants to principals for second round interviews. So I feel like we're, given where we are in this odd time of the year, we're doing really well, and kids are being taught, and we're covering things. In terms of, as we look at right this minute with our teachers that we have, Angie McLean, who's not here tonight, but Angie has just really taken on beginning teacher support. She is out in the schools. Principals let us know when a teacher may be struggling, and she is in there all day. She will spend days with teachers. And this is part of retention in my mind. When research tells us if I can keep them past the 3rd year, I've usually got them. It's those first 3 years when you figure out that they really didn't teach you how to be a teacher when you were in college. You had to figure that out when you got in the classroom. And here is someone to help you and walk alongside you, particularly for our teachers who have come through alternative licensure. So we're really proud of that work that's going on right now with that. And then as we look to the future, for next year, we have already hired 15 participate teachers, and they are in place and contracted for 23-24. So that is done. Recruiters will be attending 18 external job fairs in February, March, and April across that period of time. And I will tell you, we're sending teachers. There are some folks in my office that go, but we also, the best recruiters are teachers. And so we are arranging for them. Most of these are in state, some are out of state. We've been very picky. Dr. Williams has been fabulous about looking at the data to say, we went everywhere last year. He and I were new, and it was like, we don't know what we don't know, so we're going everywhere. Then we went back and said, well, where did our teachers come from? Where did people really come from? That's where we're going back to. So we've been very strategic this year. So we have 18 external job fairs. And that does include the one that Dr. Kopicki mentioned over here at the arena. As Dr. Kopicki pointed out, our internal job fair is April 1st. That is not an April Fool's joke. It is April 1st at Winkler Middle School, and yes, it is all positions. That's different. All positions are important, and so we're going to have a job fair for all positions. The other thing about recruitment is we're currently hosting 74 student teachers. Those student teachers are eligible to hire on April 17th, and I will tell you that principals have that date circled on their calendars. They have early letters ready to go for many of these folks. We have several who have already emailed me and said, I love where I am. The principal says I can stay here. Is that true? And I said, if he still loves you or she still loves you on April 17th, they'll have a letter for you to sign as a contingent offer, contingent upon your graduation in May. So we're really proud that we have that reputation. In addition, UNC Charlotte has sent us the list and contact of all student teachers across the region, every student teacher in the College of Ed. We have pushed that out to our principals as well, and they've started emailing whether they're student teaching here or not. One of the things that I'm really excited about that really goes to Dr. Williams is we have approximately 20 of our TAs that are signed up and are in process to begin classes and have applied for scholarships at Western Governors University for the teacher assistant to teacher pipeline. So we've got about 20. We continue to push that out. Angie continues to do sessions to talk to them about that, put them in touch with the university, help guide them through the paperwork, and Western Governors continues to work with them on scholarships to help. This is a competency-based program. It's not a semester. You take a class. If you finish, you start the next one. If you finish that, you start the next one. You can finish as many as you want as you're able during a semester that you pay for a semester. So it's a very unique EPP approved by the state. And so many of our TAs have strong foundational knowledge in education. They've been working as a TA. They know schools, they know children. What they need is the pedagogy. And this is a way for them to truncate that in terms of time. And I will share that our TA of the year that we introduced to you, Mr. Scott Parkin, is one of our TA to teacher pipeline candidates. So that kind of gives you an update. The two celebrations that we, again, past, present, and future. So we're going to celebrate this year. Dr. Kopicki mentioned the job fair, but I want to give you these two. April 20th is our celebration of excellence, where we will announce the teacher of the year. Our finalists have been selected, and now the process of observing the finalists teaching and coming to a teacher of the year. But this will be different this year. It's at Great Wolf Lodge on April 20th. And we will celebrate the excellence of our district, recognizing all of our OYs. We jokingly called this the OY celebration in my office. The teacher of the year, the CTE teacher of the year, the TA of the year, the principal of the year. We're going to celebrate everybody at Great Wolf Lodge and announce our teacher of the year. On May the 4th, we will celebrate with a celebration of service, retirements. And that also this year will be at Great Wolf Lodge. And so we ask you to put those two dates on your calendar. Those are important celebrations for this year, and also celebrating so many people who've given lots of years to educating children in many capacities. So that's my update for HR, where we are. We're busy, we're working, and we just keep moving forward. So if I have any questions, I'd be glad to answer for you.
Board members, any questions? Ms. Escobar.
Thank you. It's always nice to hear good news. Thank you for all you're doing and working to recruit more. I love that. You talked about elementary and middle. Do you know the numbers for high school?
I do. So for high school, if I take out EC, let me see where I am. If I take out EC and CTE, we have 10 positions across all high schools.
Okay.
So we have 10 positions total across all of our high schools, our traditional high schools and our early colleges, all high schools. So we have 10 openings.
And then EC, what is that
we
number
have,
across?
Across elementary, middle, and high, we have 11. It is highest at elementary with 7, and then we have 2 each at middle, and or 2 at middle and 2 at high. Yes.
Okay, great. And then, because I'm new, when you celebrate these teachers, who's on the committee that picks the winner?
We have a committee here in the office, and so every school selects their own teacher of the year. Then we go through an interview process for all of them. Out of that interview process, we select the 5 finalists, and then there are site visits to observe them teaching. The previous teachers of the year are on the committee. Principals of the year are on the committee, and then members of my office are also on the committee. Is there anybody else, Michael? That's it. Previous principals and teachers of the year, and then members of my office who lead the process.
Awesome. Well, I think we should celebrate everybody, so that's awesome to hear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Lindsay.
Pam stole my first question, so that's okay. I did want to ask a question, though, about, I know that we had been utilizing that virtual option. How many classes do we have that are still using that as their
So,
option?
number of classes is hard. You know, this is a moving target every day. We have kids coming in and out of CVA because of medical reasons or other reasons. So let me give you where we were when I pulled data toward the end of January. Dr. Williams worked with the new principal and pulled some data from me. We have, for this semester, the spring semester, we waited until the semester started, across all of our high schools, this is a duplicated count right at 850 students. Now, when we say 850 students, that's across all high school 912. Some of them are duplicated because they may be taking more than one class. The other thing is that it's hard to say how many classes because the list will say, well, 5 schools are doing this class, but in reality, there may be 1 or 2 students at that school who are have an interest and a desire to have a particular course, but it's not enough to offer the course at that high school. So we combine all of the kids across the district and offer one section of it through CVA. So it will look like there's a course in all of the high schools, when in reality it's just one class being held at CVA. So it's really hard to nail that down. I will tell you that I do know that Ms. Escobar had asked, well, do we know how many it's based on vacancy? I can tell you that I know 3 schools that are using CVA because of a vacancy in science or math. That's where we find it, is science and math. So 3 of the schools are. The other thing that I would share with you is that Ms. Reeves shared with me earlier today. She and I were having an in-depth conversation around CVA. That her department, in working with CVA, has developed a profile of who's a really good virtual learner. And so this year we've used CVA kind of in a reactive because we've got to teach children. So we're working now to be proactive. Who are the children who we could say are the ones that would benefit from virtual instruction versus just saying it's a teacher that we don't have? And then also, what do we do to train the people who are in the room with the students who are receiving virtual instruction? What is their role in supporting the students? So there's an adult there that we hire working with the students who are in their home high schools. How do we train them to know what is support for students who are working on their virtual courses? How do we keep them on track? How do we offer support? How do we tutor if need be? So that is the work that's going on also with Ms. Reeves and with Scott Nolt at the Virtual Academy, to make sure that those folks hired to do that are trained specifically. So those are kind of the things that we're looking down the road to make sure are in place before next year.
So I know that in talking to some parents, I think, so to your point, the science and math being the 2 main ones that are utilizing that, science and math are 2 of the main subjects that are extremely important for our students, obviously, to have resources to be able to answer questions that they have, especially for these kids that don't learn virtually and then are trying to learn Algebra 1 virtually would be extremely tough for me. So I'm sure it's very tough for them. So these TAs or whoever happens to be in the room with them, if these children do have questions, are the TAs, I know that you said that you're training them, but in the meantime, when they need help with their homework or a specific, subject that they're studying in math, what do they do? Because I know that parents are concerned about their kids right now in the moment not getting what they need.
I would tell you that all of the CVA, and I would say having a grandson that's doing some virtual finishing out at an early college right now, all of the teachers have office hours, and it's set up very much like that. And then students have times that they can literally talk to the teacher. They can make an appointment with an office hour to get tutoring from that teacher. And I know my grandson does that routinely, to get tutoring from the teacher for that. So that is an option. Also within the school, if a student or a parent feels that their child is struggling, I say that their first stop is to talk to the principal. Some of the high schools are using retired teachers to come in and take that role so that they are offering that support in the moment. but it's one that we're working on, Miss Lindsay. I'm not going to tell you it's perfect right now. We're working on it. The office hours are there, the virtual teacher is there, but we also have help in the building. If a parent or a student feels that, they need to first talk to the counselor or the school principal. And then if they're not getting what they need, we need to know about it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, board members, we'll move to 9.01, then the consent agenda. On the consent agenda are the policies on first read, second read, the technical edits, and the budget amendment that we talked about in our work session. So I need a motion that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Mr. Furr. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, Sam. Okay, sorry about that. You both sound alike. Okay, so that passes. Thank you. The consent agenda is approved as presented. Okay, we'll move to our action agenda, and we'll move to 10.01. This is our school boundary realignment study and long-range plan vendor approval. Board members, I'm going to read just a little bit that it's actually on your agenda, just so that the public knows what we're doing and what we're voting on. So on Monday, February the 6th, 2023, two vendors, Cooperative Strategies and MGT Davis Demographics, presented proposed plans and methodology for a school boundary realignment and long-range plan. The board is asked tonight to select a vendor that best suits the needs of the district based off of their presentations. With this approval, district staff will begin working through the contract process and cost of the project. The contract agreement will then be brought back before the Board of Education at the March 6th Board Combined Work and Business Session for approval. I want to open up the floor for discussion about this prior to us making a motion. So does anyone want to start that conversation? Ms. Escobar.
I just wanted to share that of the two, I thought Cooperative Strategies presented stronger than the two out of the two. And what I appreciated that he said was, we want our county to be, our school district to be a school district of choice, not just a school of choice. And I think that that's important, that we want to partner with parents, we want to understand what the community feels, and it just seemed like that their plan was really interested in hearing that with the focus groups, as well as reaching out and targeting neighborhoods that will be affected. I just feel like it's engagement that we haven't necessarily had previously, so I really appreciated that.
Anyone else? Ms. Sandage?
Sure. So some of our staff have been able to work with the two entities, and I just wanted to hear their experience with the two during that time. So they've been able to talk with them, and I just, again, wanted to hear their experience.
So Mr. Cohn is going to come up and answer that question for you, Ms. Sandage.
So I did have the opportunity, Ms. Sandage, to make a few contacts, checking some of the references that were a part of those qualification statements provided to us. For the MGT Davis group, I did reach out to two different individuals. I made some notes here. The school board of Hernando County in Brooksville, Florida. I spoke with the Jim Lipsey, the manager of planning, design, and construction for the school system. Asked him what capacity they worked with MGT Davis in. He said that they were on a 3-year cycle with them, going through geocoding, development, identification, because they don't have the ability in-house to do that. So that was the first-year task of MGT Davis. The second year was to begin going through scenarios of realignment and what that looked like, and that is where they're at right now. So they haven't finished the process yet. I just asked him, overall what he felt like. He says, I felt like it probably could have been a bit better than where we're at. He said there was some transition with the Davis demographics group in the GIS analysts, that they seem to have a kind of a transient group of people, so they're on like their third or fourth analyst in place right now. The other group, Fayette County Public School System, Steve Hill, he's the director of pupil personnel. So not really a facilities guy, more of a student person. They are working with them on a regular basis. So they're a larger school district. They contract with them annually just to provide demographic and GIS services. He said if we get to a point that we have to do realignment, we do engage with them, and they are involved in the community part of it. The one common piece to the two of those people I spoke with that I thought was interesting was that neither of them, when I said, well, we were submitted by MGT more so than Davis Demographics, and they said, well, we've not really heard of MGT very much. He says we essentially were brought MGT once we got a bill one month and said we needed to start sending it there, to which the group, when they presented last week, didn't really speak, kind of was the opposite of that, I think. I was only able to speak to one group on the cooperative strategies. That was Mark Rafe, the superintendent of a school system that I cannot pronounce up in the Columbus, Ohio area. I really couldn't get off the phone with him because he was speaking so highly of them. He said they are incredibly engaging. They've worked with him on numerous occasions throughout the years of his time there at the district. He says they really get into the weeds of wanting to know the community, wanting to know the neighborhoods, wanting to know the makeup of the students, which I think that kind of speaks to the presentation that was given to us last week. So, if that's worth anything.
And can you just remind the public the names? So first and second. So who went first and who went second?
First last week was Cooperative Strategies, and MGT Davis Demographics was the second group to present last week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or discussion?
No, I think we probably ready to vote on this one, unless Rob's got something to say.
Same, I thought they had some out of the box thinking just beyond. Let's for district, looking at some other items before you give that route to, and the community engagement part was impressive to me, so that's the one I would think would be best served.
Mr. Treadaway?
I don't want to cut off debate, but I'm ready for the call for question.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that the Cabarrus County Schools negotiate with cooperative strategies to conduct the school boundary realignment study and long-range plan as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. A motion by Mr. Furr and a second by Ms. Lindsay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to abstain from the vote.
Okay, Ms. Sandage would like to abstain from the vote.
How does that work, Jay?
If you're going to abstain from the vote because there's a conflict, you just ask to be recused from the vote. If you don't want to vote either way, that becomes more problematic.
I don't want to vote either way, but I also don't want to stop, this process. They didn't answer the questions for me last week, so I don't want to vote on this.
Then if you don't vote in either way, I'd have to look back over the Robert's Rules of Order. If I can have a moment to look back over Robert's Rules of Order, my memory is that that would be a unanimous 7-0 if you just say nothing.
Would no be better?
That would be better.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that motion passes. And they will be bringing this back to us on March 6th. So there is also, again, approval by the board for that once we get the contract and we see the cost. So that doesn't mean just because we selected them, if something happens between now and the contract, then we do have the ability to ask more questions and have more discussion about this. So thank you, board members. We'll move to 10.02 in policy 6140, student wellness. And Mr. Walter, did you have any comments about this?
My comments are going to be the same. We have it looks like an unnecessary clause to me that says the school day as 12 a.m. Starts at 12 a.m. And that creates a conflict. So we have plenty of clubs and other folks that do events prior to the school day where they bring in food, and according to this policy, that is not allowed. So here we are having a policy that's being violated when it shouldn't be violated, and that's what I have a problem with, and that's why I don't support it.
Ms. Burns?
All I can say is that was the definition of a school day from the federal government.
Okay, so Mr. Walter, do you want to make a different motion than us to approve the policy?
Actually, since you've asked that, maybe I... Sorry, I have to find the page that it's on. I guess, well, okay, there, so I'd make a motion that we pass the policy with the removal of the words in parentheses on the second paragraph on page 4 of 8, which says from midnight until 30 minutes after the dismissal bell rings. I think it doesn't change the policy, but it does remove that definition and can avoid that conflict.
Can I ask a question? Ms. Burns, is that required to be in that policy? Is it a legal reason that it was put in there?
I left my notes over there. Let
I'm
me
sorry.
go get them.
It's your day. You go get your notes.
And this isn't part of the change, so this has already been there. So.
Mr. LeGrand's going to help me.
So the last time I checked the U.S. code, it has it in the U.S. code.
It's in the U.S. code.
Right.
Okay. Here. There's the notes from.
Yeah, so this definition of the school day comes from FDA, and it's to provide flexibility for whenever a school may start or end. So they made it very broad with is from midnight to 30 minutes after the school day ends. So if a school were to start at 7, the school day was still, as far as the FDA is concerned.
Clearly, dismissal bell.
30 minutes after the dismissal bell.
Dismissal bell.
Yes. And so, regardless of when the school day starts or ends, that would be the definition. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all definition from the FDA on the various school bells that may be all over the country. So that's the reason for the midnight to 30 minutes after the dismissal bell.
Madam Chair, I just want to remind everyone, this is to avoid competition with child nutrition. That's why it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and we don't want to jeopardize those dollars.
So are we going to crack down on all these events, the Donuts with Dads or whatever else other events we're having? I don't think that's fair.
So I think there, you wanted to put a motion on the floor, so you're going to need a second. Is there a second for us to change this policy language the way it is? Okay, hearing none, then we will move to, I need a motion to approve policy 6140, student wellness as presented.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Treadaway, a second by Ms. Sandage. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, we'll move to 10.03, Second Chance EOG and EOC Summer Program. I need a motion to approve the Second Chance EOG EOC Summer Program as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Lindsay, a second by Ms. Sandage. Is there any discussion, board members? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Thank you, Ms. Reeves. We will move to 10.04, School Board Professional Development. Board members, under our policy, and I've got that policy open. It's 2123, Board Member Opportunities for Development. There is a statement in here that says, unless otherwise approved by the board, training must be provided by following entities: the school system, North Carolina School Board Association, National School Board Association, School of Government, or Department of Public Instruction. So we have a request from Ms. Sandage, and I'm going to let her talk about the request that she's made.
Sure. So I identified training that is coordinated through CHASM, which is the Charlotte Area Health Education Center, in collaboration with Cabarrus Health Alliance. The name of the training is Closing the Gaps on Disparities, Opening Paths for Equity, and the target audience includes physicians, advanced practitioners, public health professionals, municipal professionals, case managers, social workers, psychologists, licensed professional counselors, educators, student personnel, mental health professional, clinicians, nurses, health and human service practitioners, and other healthcare professionals, and also members of the community. And just a brief description of the training, the CHASM Summit is intended to highlight the importance of incorporating equity-based practices into public, private, and non-profit sector, work to address disparities first faced by communities, both physically and systemically. By hosting a diverse sector of speakers, the conference will elevate through thought-provoking topics centered and integrated into any field. Attendees will be challenged to access their own agency practices in hopes that a change of ideas will promote change and improve community health outcomes. So I just asked the board to allow for me to participate in a training. I have been very big on community, and it's important in what we do in our school systems. This is available to school personnel as well, so I feel that it's appropriate. I'll add to this, the policy that we are looking at should not be so specific as to certain entities. We don't even contract with the National School Board Association anymore, so we may need to take a look at that policy in lieu of what we're discussing tonight.
And you're willing to share what you learned?
I'm absolutely willing to learn what I shared.
I move that the professional development be approved as presented.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How many days is it?
It's just one day, if I remember correctly.
So there is a motion by Ms. Escobar, was a second by Mr. Treadaway, is that right? Okay.
I'm sorry, let me add to, if you guys will remember, we went to the North Carolina School Board Association training in November. It is the exact same speaker. That's one of them from the University of Chapel Hill, who talked about what's happening in our community, how diversity plays a part in all of that. The guys who went to, I'm sorry? Dr. Johnson. Thank you.
Okay, we have
I'm not through. Does Dr. Kopicki have an opinion? I mean, is this beneficial to could this be beneficial to the board?
I do think it's very beneficial, so I do think it's a worthwhile conference for Ms. Sanders to attend, and if I can work it into my schedule on the 24th of March, I would plan to attend myself.
Just one more question. I'm sorry. What is the cost? We didn't talk about that.
There's a $150 registration fee in person. There is a $100 fee if you get pre-approval, and there's a code that goes with that. And then there's if you choose to do virtual, it's $75. So it's a very reasonable cost. It's probably in the low end when you look at conferences across the board. It's local.
I encourage you guys to attend too.
I'll send the information out to the entire board so the board can take a look at it.
Okay, board members, any more discussion? We do have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you, Ms. Sandage, for going out and getting that and for engaging our community the way that you do. We appreciate that. Okay, at this time, we will now go into open session.
Closed session.
Closed session.
Closed session.
And the light.
You just need a motion to go into closed session.
So I need a motion to go into closed session.
I move we go into closed session.
Second.
We got to state the reasons for the statutes. The 143.318.11A3 and 143.318.11A6.
Okay, I have a motion by Miss Saint. Okay, y'all are really messing me up tonight. So Miss Lindsay and a second by Miss Sandage. So the board is going to convene in closed session to consult with an attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143.318.11A3 and to consider confidential personnel matters pursuant to General Statute 143.318.11. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in closed session. Thank you to everyone that came tonight.